it's strange they sacked Jesse Marsch in some ways because they've just signed Weston McKennie and they've kind of built this structure of the RB kind of set up around him. Is there anyone better for Leeds to turn to at this stage of a season? And what do you make of the decision right now and the timing of it?
Yeah, it feels like this keeps happening this season where clubs just pick a really odd time to make their changes. Because
Yeah.
we talked about this with a few clubs, haven't we? We talked about it with Chelsea, we talked about it with Everton, waiting so late in the transfer window. It's just, you've just let the transfer window close and you sack your manager after, what is it, one game since the window's gone? And actually, Leeds are such a funny one because they've not been playing too badly. I know this sounds ironic because you can't be unlucky in 38 games for a season, but it does feel like Leeds are quite unlucky. I've seen them play some quite nice football at times. And yeah, they've built a squad around what Marsch wants. There's obviously that connection with them bringing in so many American players. That's clearly something he wanted. They've got a lot of players from RB Salzburg as well, or Leipzig, and it just seems like they've built a squad for him over the course of a year. Because let's be honest, it's only been a year. In fact, it's not even a year yet, is it? And they've
Just
already
shy,
given
yeah.
up on a project that they were kind of chasing for a while. It was very clear that when they got rid of Bielsa, they already knew they wanted Jesse Marsch. I don't know who they want now. I can't see an obvious candidate really that would come in and improve this team necessarily. I think Leeds I'll really worry about. I was going to say I think Leeds might have put a nail in their coffin by doing this, but I'm not even convinced Marsch would have kept them up. I just don't really know what the ambition is for Leeds right now.
No.
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously, they've lost Rodrigo as well. He's injured until at least April, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks
Big
like.
blow.
And that really will affect them. But they've got quality in that squad. I think if you'd given Marsch more time, maybe you would have got the best out of him. It's hard. If they'd sacked him in
Yeah.
November, I would have understood. But now it seems
Well,
weird.
they've still got a game in hand over Everton, who are just below them in the relegation zone. So it's fine margins at the bottom. And Dave, I mean, are you looking at this thinking that Leeds could have recovered this? Did you see their loss to Forest as a really problematic result? I mean, Forest are flying fairly high in the table
Really
now.
well.
They're 13th, I think. So it's not like they're a direct relegation rival at the moment. There's 5 other clubs around them that are in much worse position than that. So with the game in hand over the team below them, Everton, do you think they still stood a chance with Marsch in charge, or was it the right time to make this decision?
I think the thing for me is they were falling foul of familiar problems from before, defensive issues. If you looked at their defensive mistakes that they have been making for the last 18 months, 2 years even, and they've got some of the same personnel in there now that they have had, for a couple of years. So it's almost go to say if keep trying something and expecting different results. For me, I feel like they do need a couple of defenders, and it's already too late now. I mean, the transfer window's closed, but they've got, obviously, if you look at who they've brought in, obviously Nonto looks brilliant, and obviously Weston McKennie, who you mentioned, Myles. It is just strange how they have looked seriously to kind of back the manager, but then it almost feels like an impulsive decision. And you kind of expect them to have somebody lined up. I know, obviously, Carlos Corberán at West Brom was at Leeds between 2020 and 2022 as their under-23 manager. Sorry, just before that, couple of years earlier than that. And he went to Huddersfield. And you look where he took Huddersfield and nearly got them promoted into the playoffs. He's doing an amazing job at West Brom, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did bring a familiar face back in. Obviously, I know a lot of people are mentioning Bielsa, but I don't think that would be a great idea. But a familiar face who's been at the club, knows obviously what the club's about, is obviously a very promising manager, and what he's achieved so far, he looks a good suit for me. So
I've got a name for you.
Go on.
Solskjaer?
It's available.
I don't know about that.
Why?
The last time we had a team in the relegation battle, he made it worse, I think.
Oh, yeah, but that's a different manager. Think about how Solskjaer got United playing at times and how he liked to play. Is this Leeds squad is that not their best route out of this?
I don't know if he'd want to go to Leeds, to be honest. He's very Man United now. I
true.
think I'd be
biggest
frowned
barrier.
upon quite a bit, yeah.
Well, then they could have
Solskjaer's
Gerrard
out of the question. Gerrard or Lampard, they're both available, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason they're both available. Don't take either of them.
That'd be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Back in Premier League management straight away. Yeah, it's a strange one at Leeds. I mean, I think the way they play is always a bit kamikaze sometimes, isn't it? They always try and play on the front foot, and you can only play like that if you've got a really solid defence, and they've never looked very solid at the back, have they, Leeds? So, yeah, I think unless they'd signed a couple of really dependable defenders, this was never going to work out for them. And they were fun to watch, Leeds. Don't get me wrong. Marsch got them playing some good football sometimes. So, yeah, it's a shame that project hasn't actually come to fruition or even been close to being completed. Less than a year in the job is not long enough, is it, to kind of make significant change to a team, especially a team that was ingrained in the Bielsa way of playing. You know, it's going to take time to get rid of, isn't it? And I think he did a good job in changing that fairly quickly. So fair play to Jesse Marsch. He did all right for me. I think he deserved a chance, I think.
A character we'll miss in his interviews as well. And I'll definitely miss Yank Lampard trending on Twitter this weekend was a personal highlight, to be honest. I thought it was very funny.